this is your dart pattern. This is an example of what it looks like once it has been sewn. Darts are used to create shaping in a garment. And darts require a lot of pinning. Let's get started. So on your pattern, you only need 1/2 inch of seam allowance at the end. And this triangle in the middle, this fabric is called the dart return. You will be leaving that in. You do not cut that away. Once you have traced out your pattern, you can connect the lines just gently with your pencil. Now we cut. I have sped up the cutting. Now for the pinning. You're going to fold your fabric in half, making sure the tip of the dart is perfectly lined up on both sides. And you'll start with the end of the dart, where the largest part of the return is, and match up your notches with perpendicular pins. I'm going to put a pin at the very tip of the dart, only taking a tiny bite of fabric. So you should have 4 perpendicular pins when you pin your dart. And then we're going to add parallel pins to make sure the fabric does not move at all, as darts are notorious for sliding on you. And if you sew them when the fabric is not perfectly lined up, you will have a twist and you will have to redo it. Excellent. For sewing, we always start from the largest part of the dart return and move towards the smallest part. Back stitching at the beginning. Slowly pull out your parallel pins only as soon as you need to. So as soon as the presser foot is approaching the actual end of the pin, then you'll remove it. And take your time, making sure you're hitting your line. When you are a 1/2 inch from the very tip of the dart, you're going to stop. You're going to change to a 2 stitch length. You're going to go another 1/4 inch, stop again. So you have a 1/4 inch to go. You're going to switch to a 1 stitch length. And you're going to finish the dart, continuing sewing off the edge of the material so that you are just sewing on your foot plate. You're going to lift your presser foot, pull out your thread, and you're going to clip your thread so that you have 5 inches of thread left. And you are going to tie those 2 pieces of thread in 2 knots. Now the reason that we switch to a 1 stitch length at the end is that creates its own knot, because it's such tiny stitches that they are not going to come out, and therefore there is no bulky stitching right at the end there, because we want the point of the dart to lay as flat as possible. So to review, you stop stitching a 1/2 inch from the end of the dart, switch to a number 2 stitch length, then stop a 1/4 inch from the end of the dart and switch to a 1 stitch length. So now for pressing. You're going to use a ham to press your dart. And yes, it's called a ham because it looks like a ham. It is fabric stuffed with sawdust, so it's very firm. And you're going to take your fabric, and first, of course, we're going to press the stitching itself to relax the stitching and the fabric around the stitches. And then we are going to open up our stitching and find the perfect place on the ham for your fabric to lay flat. You have to move it around until you find the right curve to match your dart. It's not always going to be the same. And once you have found the placement, you're going to iron the dart return to one side. In the construction of a garment, you always iron dart returns towards the center of the garment, but on your sample, it is stitcher's choice. Making sure that the fabric is all pulled tight so that you don't get any tacoing. And then you're going to flip it over and iron just the point of your dart, because we want to try and get the fabric to relax as much as possible so there's no puckering. And as you can see, we've created some nice shaping in the sample.